thought you're supposed to be at home. Oh, all right. Mine was wonderful. I mean, I've been eating chicken a lot, and I went to service, and yeah, it was amazing. And
And
26
26
happened to be my
happened to be
mom's
my mom's
birthday.
birthday. So
What's there not
what's
to love
there to
about
love
the
about
decision?
the decision?
Okay, that's beautiful. I think Gloria raised her hand up, but uh, I don't know. She wanted to say something. It's beautiful for me. Christmas was spent mostly working on, 2026. So I'm going to delve into what I have for today. Uh, might be different, might be similar in a way. So I heard all praise Brain said, which was really wonderful. That was a very good foundation you laid. I might tilt a little bit, and everything I'm going to say and everything I'm going to teach. I started my teaching. So if you have your books, your pen, start to write. I mean, you could start to write. So everything I am about to say you've heard before. Nothing here, nothing. There is nothing I'm going to say right now that is going to be really new to you, because you might have heard it on podcasts, you might have heard it from pastors, from people say it. So why I thought to bring it to this space is so people can be. It's close to 2026. It could prompt you up. It could put you on a stand where you are very intentional and more conscious of building in 2026. Okay, so now the problem with most people is not just the ideas. Ideas are really good. I'm very creative when it comes to ideas, which is something I love. And people have ideas, but the problem is not just to have the solution, I'd say, is not just to have an idea. Okay, not just to have an idea, but what you ought to have as an individual is an execution mindset. All right, highlight the word execution. Now, young people will tell you, if I ask a young person, do you know what to do? Do you know what to do to get better in 2026? I bet you in 4 or 10 minutes, that person is going to tell me. If I even ask someone on this platform, you're going to tell me, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do XYZ for 2026. You're going to give me a whole bunch of resolutions you have planned out. But trust me, it's not enough to know what to do. It's not enough to know how to fix your life. It's not enough to overload yourself with ideas. What is more important is executing those things that you have as an idea. Now, you see, because ideas do not execute themselves, they need an executor to execute them. And so, execution requires organization. You might want to put this down. Ideas do not execute themselves. An idea needs an executor, and execution requires organization of those ideas properly. Now, there are two categories of people who are in this room. I want to believe we can hear me, please. Do I sound muffled? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Catherine. Hey, Catherine, I see you. It's great to have you on the space. Now, going forward, you're going to be there are two category of people who are on this call now, who are in this space: the pre-executor and the executor. The pre-executor and the executor. Now, who's a pre-executor? I believe you know what an executor means. An executor is someone who carries out plans, who builds systems to follow through with these plans. Now, who is a pre-executor? In 2026, write this down. I will be an executor. Write it like 5 times every day when you wake up. Say it to yourself. I will be, you can paste it on sticky notes in front of your room. Every day, say it. I will be an executor in 2026. Let it be your goal, your timeline, more exactly. Let it be your timeline. You would remind me in 2026 towards the end that I said this, and you should take it seriously. Now, going back to what I said there is the pre-executor and there is the executor. A pre-executor are the category of people who have plans today on this call, who have intentions. Now, who have written down a bunch of resolutions they want to carry out in 2026. Who is the executor? The person who has a properly planned system, a properly planned structure to follow through throughout 2026. Remember, I said, remind yourself, I will be an executor in 2026. Now, the difference between you now and your future self is not your talent, it's not your gifting, it's not what you're skilled at. It is the arrival of execution. When you get to that point when you say, I used to be there when I was I'd be like, oh, I know what to do. I have swelling thoughts in my head many years ago, but executing became a problem. It's why most young people now realize that they procrastinate a lot. You don't only procrastinate, you're not allowing yourself to be an executor. That's majorly the problem. All right, so I'll talk about the executionist mindset. If you're an executor, you're going to carry out execution. And so, therefore, you are an executionist. So, what kind of mindset do you have? Now, uh,
So, but the thing is that if I go
firstly,
back
an
there,
executor
I
or
go vibe with them.
executionists do not rely on energy. You do not rely on the kind of mood. You do not rely on if you're happy or sad to do things. I have grown to
Yes, I
be
know.
this person
So I miss
that
them. It's
I
like my last
am
bomb.
my own
And they follow
motivator.
my sister. They talk way.
Come on, I don't know if there would be people who
My
are
sister they talk.
motivators, bigger motivators, but I motivate myself
But
so much.
now
I
mostly
don't
people
wait
that
for
they talk about.
validation from people. I give myself the biggest kind of energy. People who are in my space, they'll tell you,
Ah,
I tell
so
myself,
at least
I
talk
know you
about
can
it.
do this, and if you really put your
Very
mind to
typical
it,
me
you
is
will
same.
do
I say
it.
that
All right, so you
my area
don't.
where I've been saying same nigga that also
Some
start
people
buying
need
nice
to
clothes
learn
before
in
come before people come
2026.
do.
Take this down. Learn
But they do
emotional
rubbish work.
intelligence. You need to be, intelligent emotionally.
Me,
Otherwise, you'll be
that
making
that's
decisions
how
based
this
on
boyfriend
emotions,
that he
right?
creates for
So,
life.
an executionists do not rely on energy, you do not rely on mood, you do not rely on
No. The truth
excitement.
is,
You
if you
rely
day,
on structure, you rely
what
on
if when you
patterns,
day,
you
yeah,
rely on
except for
repeatable
no go
systems.
stress.
I'm going to call it again.
Teach your sister.
You rely on
Tell her
structure,
what.
you rely on patterns, you rely on repeatable systems. Build a structure for yourself, follow a consistent pattern and a
Small
repeatable
girl where they
system.
own for
You
your house,
see,
we don't dey get price.
okay, Praise Brain, I don't know if you noticed, the call is
See, I
going
beg,
to
I see
end in
talk about
15 minutes. You might want to extend the
So
time.
are you still working on any data
Hello, Praise Brain, are you there?
It's just are you ever done with your organization?
Do you realize the call is going to end in 15 minutes?
Yeah, first bird,
Your organization?
extend it.
Wow. Yeah, which organization? I want to speak.
Can I go?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can go on. Go on. Your this
Okay, so I said structure, patterns, and repeatable system.
your
I
stuff.
was never born with a special appetite to do things.
Designer,
People see me and they're
framework,
like, oh, how do you do it? How do you manage? Someone saw my calendar, my Google calendar, last month. Yeah, and was like, how do you do it? And I say, I just create a structure, I just create a system around it. I was never born to it's overtime discipline most times that made me the executionist that I am today.
I'm not the read
And
data analysis.
yeah, so I'll talk about next what is a system. Now, I established a fact that you should see yourself in 2026 as an executor, not just someone who has ideas. Now, the next I would establish is the kind. What is a system really? What is a system? Because if you're an executor, you need to have a system. Now, a system is a structure that allows you as an individual to follow through when motivation disappears. So when you lose your motivation, should I tell you that there are some times when I'm like, oh, I feel like giving up on this. I don't feel like doing it, which is true. Most people hide, they only bring out the good side of things. They don't really tell you what's really going on behind the scene. And there were times I'll break down. Honestly, I'll break down. I'll be in tears. I would call my friend. I'll talk about that part later. But I would pick back up because when I look to the wall of my house, when I look to the vision board I have, I'm seeing like a couple of things that I need to do, and I'm like, okay, you still got some things to do. So why crying? Why being wary over this? And so a system is a structure that allows you to follow through even when you lose motivation. In 2026, trust me, 3 months into 2026, you'll lose yourself, you'll lose motivation. You feel like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't even do this thing they do. All right, so I'll give you three parts of a system. Oh, every system has three parts. The first one is the input system. I just want to confirm we're still here. Hello, are we still here? Thank you so much. So let's try to. Yeah, thank you. So try to react so I know that we are following. Oh, hello, Baron. I see you. My cybersecurity colleague is here. Hello. It's great to have you
Talking
here.
about it now, you say it's good
So,
to invest there.
three parts of a system. The first is the input
Can you
system. As an executionist, you ought to have an input system.
can
An
you
input system is what goes into you daily, what you consume daily, what you read, what you listen to, what you expose your mind to.
hear
All
me
right.
talking to you?
Now, before this session today, I had other things to do, and one of it was to read a book. This book is titled Christians in Content Creation. It's written by, I bought it from, purchased it from Eric Gugwa. We should know Eric Gugwa is a very popular content creator. So it was 168 pages, and I finished it today before I came on this. I started it today. I also finished it today. Now, I was so intentional, all right? So some people will be wild. It's not something to be wild about. If you really put your mind to it, you'll do it. So I created a system to sit on it. I put my clock to keep what do you call my timer. I put my timer on 3 hours, and exactly 3 hours it was, it showed me that my time was up, and at that time I'd finished the entire book. I was very intentional about it. So what goes into you daily matters. What you listen to. There was also a time last year I started a routine to break my year into, uh, I had to split my year every 3 months of the year. Made it easy for me because I could track myself very well. I'll listen to, in the
Why
whole of
come you
January,
talk on
I
ending?
pick like 10 podcasts to
Come meeting
listen
don't want in
to.
the meeting.
I put them on repeat, put
See,
them on repeat. That was what I
no
wanted to
meet.
listen
Right
to.
now,
That could be a
the way they
structure
go
for
take
you in
control now. Yeah.
2026.
No, no.
So in
Let them
February,
keep
if
it
I
for
wanted
now.
to
We don't
repeat
want
those
to do this
10,
last
I
year.
could. If I
No
wanted to go into
meet for
something else, I
long.
could go into
Because
something
always
else. So
do that
just
email.
kept it small and built that kind of input system because I was really intentional about what was coming into me. Now, executionist or an executor does not wait for the perfect time. All right. They do what fits into the system, do what fits into your system. Okay. So the next one is the output system. So as an executionist, you got your input system, what goes into you. As an executionist, you also got your output system. What you do, what is an output system? What do you produce consistently? What do you produce consistently? I was having a conversation with someone before I graduated, and this is someone who had been following me for quite some time. And I was asking, have you ever talked to anybody? You read books a lot, you listen to messages. Have you ever spoken to anybody, don't, not just evangelism, but still talk to people? And he was like, okay, praise Rain. Is there a problem? Okay, I'll just go ahead. I saw a text. I want to believe we are still on the call. Please confirm. Okay, thank you so much. I got a text from Praise Brain, so that's why. And I was asking, do you even talk to people? Do you teach people? And he was like, no, talking to people is so much stress. Teaching people is so much stress. And when I heard it, I was like, how do people even come about all of this? Now, the point I'm trying to drive is I had to make him see reasons why whatever you learn, whatever you do, you have to teach people, you have to pour it out to people. One thing that made me grow really fast was to, I think Catherine is here. She's one of the people I had mentored over time. And I was consistently, if I learned something to them, like, what's up, come. And she doesn't know I teach her, but what I learn every day, but I just talk to her and teach her something new. And in her mind, it's like, oh, okay, maybe the video wants to teach me, but I do it so it could stay in me. That's what teaching people helps. So output system in summary is what you give out to people. Teaching other people deepens your mastery. Teaching forces clarity, makes you get clarity over time, and teaching people position you as a valuable person. All right. So if you want to grow fast, do not just learn, teach. Now, the next, all of these things I'm saying are strategies, important strategies to positioning yourself for 2026. The next is feedback, and feedback system. Yeah, so I talked about the outputs, I talked about the input, and the third one part of system is the feedback system. Just give me some time. I want to take something. All right, so I'm back. So the feedback system. Now, I'm going to ask you on this meeting right now, who checks you when you work? Not just when you work, who checks your work? That thing you're building for 2026, who has seen it, who has checked it? I'm not saying you have to broadcast to everybody in your family and say, oh, I'm building this and this and this. Who is that one person in your space that you can say, oh, this is what I've built. I want you to check it. Who corrects you? Who challenges you? Do you have such people in your space? Just do you have such people in your space? Now it's important to build a circle. If you do not have consistent feedback from people, a small circle, you'd have a slow execution progress and process, because when you feel like giving up, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should just leave it. I tell you, I have a small circle. Recently, I someone joined my circle. I got one friend before this year. I had one friend who I was doing life with. Like she was I was very comfortable with it. I did not need to pack crowd. Like one person just in my space, you get it. I didn't need too much people. I was just doing life with her, and it was really beautiful because I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? And when I take my ideas to her, whatever I build, I don't go to her to hear, oh, Vidal, you did well, I like it, I like it. That's not what I want to hear. I go to her so she can tell me what I need to adjust, what I'm doing wrong, what is not, right about it. So have a small circle, have a feedback system. It could be mentors, it could be spiritual parents. Have a feedback. Part of your system is your the people who are around you, which is a feedback system. Okay, so and if you're going to have mentors, spiritual fathers, I'd give this advice. I wanted to say it earlier on, but just be careful, because when I was trying to when I was coming up, I think in 200 level, everybody around me were like, oh, I have spiritual parents, I have mentors, and I was very eager for it. And I came in contact with this man who was like, okay, I'll be your mentor, I'll be your no spiritual father. And he was like, okay, we'll start with Bible study and all. And from Bible study, we were chatting on WhatsApp. He could teach me the book of Hebrews, which would sink in well and was so beautiful. And the next thing I started to see love emojis, love him, and I'm like, sir, what is going on? What's going on? And I have to ask. And the next thing he would say, is quite interested in me. He wants us to do something together. That period, that period, I had not settled my accommodation, and he was like, okay, you could come over to my house to stay. I got a 2-bedroom apartment. You stay in one room, I stay in one room. And things, something can happen and we get together. And I'm looking at this man. This man is like 2 times my age. At the time I was in 200 level, and I was like, for real, why? You understand what I'm saying? So basically what I'm laying this fact is, so when you're trying to pick out a mentor, don't just be everywhere trying to pick anybody. All right, be intentional about it. It took me okay, I got a coach in 2025 who has been really intentional about me. So I most of my growth was, I go online, be intentional. So just like that. All right. So I want to go to the next part of my slide, but I think the call would end in 4 minutes. Praise Brain, what we do? Should we get on another space?
Uh, yes, I've sent the link already, so everyone
Okay, so let's redirect to the other space.
is on the
All right.
message box, so everyone should.
And okay, I go on to the next part of what I want to teach, which is I've laid a foundation to tell you how you should be an executionist in 2026. Get the input, the output, and the feedback system around you. So I'll go on to the next, which is uh, the 4 needs of every executionist. The four, hold on, please. So the 4 needs of every executionist. Before I talk about that, let me talk about self-motivation. Why nobody motivates you like you, right? Nobody really can motivate you
You don't
just
see your
like
face when
you would
you
motivate
are
yourself. I
adding
made mention of myself as the biggest motivate. I'm my biggest fan. You don't need to tell me,
you're adding
oh, Vida,
weight.
you're beautiful. I don't need it because before you tell me, I'm like, yeah, I know, I know. Some people see me and they're like, oh, you are so okay. Someone was telling me a couple of days, are you a woman of influence?
Comparing
And I
your
was like,
own.
I know. You know, when you tell most Nigerians, and I'm gonna teach you this, when you tell most people, they're like, oh, really? I did not know. You know how they sound Nigerian? Oh, really? I did not know. Oh, thank you. I don't do that. I'm like, yes, I know. I'm very confident about it. All right. So, uh, one of the okay, let me leave that part though, but let me go into the four needs of every executionist. The four needs of every executionist. First one is, I said earlier, is you need you. As an individual, you need yourself. You must believe yourself enough to start 2026, irrespective of how many followers people have online, irrespective of what you're doing. You need yourself. No mentor replaces self drive. No friend can replace your discipline, your personal discipline. You need
How can you
yourself
see
for
myself?
discipline. You need yourself for motivation. Be your biggest motivator in 2026. And the next need of every executionist is you need friends, which is a small circle.
Buy
When I wanted to
save money to buy
start
three book and
to,
to
learn
buy
the
one.
British accent, people were like, and Praise Brain, I'm answering your question now. Yeah. So people were like, I told a couple of persons, they were like, oh, why do the British accent? You're Nigerian. Yeah, you do Nigerian, you do you. And I intentionally blocked my ears. I wanted to refine how I
Yeah,
was,
like this.
my
Okay. Yeah,
articulation.
like this.
I intentionally blocked my ears to whatever it was they were saying, and some of those people are the people I had to let go of, because if you can't be happy, if you can't celebrate what I want to take as a step, I mean, I don't see any reason why it should be in my space.
I'm not saying you cannot.
So the third one is you
You
need
what?
mentors, which
You
I
what?
mentioned earlier on. One of the best ways I work with mentors is putting them
I
beside my
really
path. So if I'm to go to from here to Lagos,
it's
my
very
mentor
I
would
live
be
in the wrong
beside me.
context.
My mentor is one mentors are people who would, you can't do life alone. I tell people mentors would do life with you. All right. So mentors help you to define what you can do and what you cannot do. Mentors amplify your vision. Mentors help you reduce your
It's
mistake.
because you
Mentors help you
discipline yourself.
speed your execution. All
Because you
right.
disciplined yourself.
I'll say it again. Mentors help you amplify your vision. They help you reduce your mistake, and they help you speed your execution. So, as an executionist, you need mentors in 2026. It might be someone you love. You see what the person is doing. You're like, "Oh, ma'am, I like what you're doing, and I feel like I want you to be a mentor." It's simple. All right. So,
Uh,
and the
uh,
fourth
uh,
one is you
but
need a vision.
he did not tell you that you must put
Praise Brain laid emphasis on
it's
that
not
part, how to build. I talked about vehicle and your
you have to
vision.
discipline yourself.
You need
Tell
a
that you're
vision.
in
You
the
need a
bus,
clear
you
cut
need to
vision. You can't do everything.
how
There are
many hours
things
does
I
it take
picked
you to
up
the
which
house?
I know I'm very